Hello everybody, I am Samuel15 the Dragon Tamer here today, and welcome to PAVA Anime Talk, where each and every week we talk about an anime one way or another, whether it's a review, a top 10, or a rant. Now, before we continue, I want to know that all you see is this picture and hear my voice. If you want to see some fancy-ass clips and whatnot, and other pictures besides this, and stuff along those lines, well, you're not getting that. You're getting a guy who just rambles on to the ends of the earth with no real script and a picture. So if you're not into that, please leave. If you are into that, please stay. Now, what I'm going to be talking today is Afro Samurai and a rant about that. Now, what I mean by rant is it's not exactly a review. I'm talking to you as if you have already seen it and you're my friend. So I'm basically talking to you as a friend who's already saw it. Put it that way. If you have yet to see it, please go see the movie Afro Samurai. I don't know why I don't know why you're clicking this without already having not seen it, but then again, you probably just want to see it so you can get an idea. No. This is a rant. I'm going to be talking to you as assuming as if you have seen it. I'm not really going to review it, give a full review of it, but I will kind of rate it later on. So without further ado, and that was a long intro, let's begin. Now I'm going to start things off with, as you guys know, I'm not going to say the good, the bad, and everything about it. I'm not exactly to say negative things, but start with something good. Now, I liked the artwork. I really did. I also liked the soundtrack. I almost want to buy the soundtrack. And the voice acting was pretty incredible. I mean, not the best, but it was pretty good. I would probably say it's top percentage of voice acting, with still a performance on Samuel L. Jackson's part. But he wasn't the best. Actually, I think he was best simply because he had the most lines than everyone else. Another person. Let's see what else. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I think the whole entire concept. The guy sees his father killed before he dies. He seeks for vengeance and be as badass as humanly possible about it. Good concept. Fortunately, Afro Samurai had a backstory that made him seem like a total freaking Sasuke. What I mean by that is that Sasuke, the whole entire freaking time of Naruto, if anyone has ever seen the show, at least the first show of Naruto, or a few, like 10 or 20 episodes, you know that Sasuke is an emo pansy who's kind of badass and kind of coolish, who has a freaking revenge complex over his brother for murdering his clan. Now, some people say, well, it's kind of his father. It's like, it seems kind of cooler about it. No, he is. And honestly, all the blood killing and all that stuff makes him look pretty badass. Until we get to his backstory. Now, I don't mind him seeing his father die in front of his eyes and wanting revenge for that. I don't blame him for that. What I do blame him for is getting a certain amount of happiness and joy from his friends and his new family, so to speak, and essentially seeing this girl who he probably would end up one day or another falling in love with. He probably, even when he's that age where you don't really know anything, he probably would see that and or see her as a good friend. Anyway, with all that stuff going on, I feel as if what a lot of people hate about Sasuke is he constantly goes revenge, stabs Naruto and Sakura in the back, and leaves. Afro pretty much does the same damn thing. Now, some people will vouch for him to the ends of the earth because of how badass he is, but in the end of the day, all his knowledge about being cool, a black guy with an afro, and being cool and stuff wears off me. Now, I don't like his character because he's black. I could care less what color he is. Honestly, though, if I feel like he was white or Asian or any other color, people would not think of him as so badassery, and people wouldn't have such a huge following of it because, well, him being black, I think, is what attracted a lot of people to this anime. No offense. I just think that if the guy was white, I don't think as many people would like that. And a lot of you might disagree. I'm going to tell people who are watching this who are African American, would you really watch this if the guy was white or Asian? No, you wouldn't. Be honest with me. You wouldn't. We all know that. We all know this. Now, I'm not going to fault anyone for for doing this, because I probably would never watch it either, because I would probably not hear all the hype. So in turn, I can't really say much either, because the only reason why I watched it is because I felt everyone was saying, oh, you have to watch it. Even if you don't like it, you should watch it for the experience. And I do agree with it. It was a great experience. Now back to his character. His actual character. And his comparison to Sasuke. Now, the difference between him and Sasuke, in my opinion, is that Afro does not whine about it. Instead of complaining and say what he will do about it, he just goes and does it, which I do respect the fact. However, he ends up freaking getting everyone he cares about killed, even though, granted, there was someone that could have done to prevent that, but I'll get into that later. When a character like this sees happiness, has happiness, and has a chance to move on and forget about it, and actually live their life and not be handled by stuff that happened to them in the past, and be able to move on, I mean, I feel as if they should let it go. But if they don't let it go, I feel that person is not exactly a good character. And that's what I really mean about the difference between Sasuke and Afro. Oh, that both of these characters did not move on, and therefore dragged everyone else to hell with them. Now, a lot of people don't even care about all of this backstory because they just kind of ignore it and just see it for the badassery. Let's be honest, no one really came in for the backstory. I mean, and it's cool. And honestly, I really think that Afro should not have had that backstory at all. Now, I don't mind him killing his sensei. I actually think that they should have just blacked out the whole entire his friendship with others and cut entirely, so the viewer would not get a sense that he did that or anything like that. Or the creator should have made a story where he didn't develop ties with other people, or people didn't care to develop other ties with him for whatever reason. And there should have been, in the end, he and his sensei growing a bond, and he slicing that bond and killing his sensei. That's what I think that should have been, and I would have been okay with it. I really would have. I would have actually kind of liked that. It's kind of cliche sounding and a little poetic, I guess, too poetic, I guess, but I really think that's how it should have happened. Him gaining sort of a best friend, someone he could relate to-ish and kind of have a little bit of a bond, even if he wasn't totally willing about the bond. I feel like that should not have happened. And I'll put this very simply. Afro did not fucking need a backstory. He did not need that. He didn't need that. We could have just gone the whole entire freaking movie for them just slicing up people, and we would not give two shits. We honestly wouldn't care about his backstory. The whole entire time up to that point where they revealed his backstory, I was not fucking curious about his backstory. To me, like, from him going to his father and going to that, I was not really curious about that. One thing I was kind of curious is that how the hell did he teach himself, and that could have just simply been said via dialogue. He could have simply said, "My father, I killed my sensei, took me under his wing, and at a certain age I found he was number 2 and I killed him." That's all that was need to be said. That could have been just explained via dialogue and not kill like hour of the freaking 30 minutes to 45 minutes developing on his relationship with other people he met when he was younger. That fucking did not need to happen. I mean, some people thought maybe that made him more badass and more cold and more cool and whatnot. No, that stuff doesn't work on me, you know. I see, with all the flashiness and stuff, I can actually see even to a character's death. And most people who like anime as much as I do will tell you that Afro was actually a shitty character, and then most people who are like me do not really give a shit for the character, don't like him. You know, because I don't mind blind violence. However, what I do mind about blind violence is the fact that they try to make it seem not as violent, you know? It's like, try to play it as more as it is. That's what I feel like the problem with the show did. It made him, Afro, seem like have a character, get a bit of a character and get more depth than when he didn't need that. He didn't need that substance that they were trying to give him. In fact, at the end of the day, they end up kind of ruining his character, honestly, make him more pussy-like. You know? Make him like a Sasuke, but only Sasuke's now starting to regret what he did and not be able to go through with it. That's at the end of the day I feel like he was doing. He took the actions knowing the consequences, and when it bit him in the ass, he cringed about it. He he didn't really outright say anything about it, and he just wanted in every. I just didn't like the character at all. You know, the ninja ended up dying, even though it turns out to be his freaking imagination, more or less. Which makes sense. He did see his father die right in front of him when he was 4 or 5 years old, with his head shot off. So we saw what happened to freaking Bruce Wayne. He turned into Batman, turned into a giant flying bat running the states with hiring 14-year-olds as sidekicks. Yeah, we know what kind of shit that can do to a person. So I ended up having someone to follow him in his imagination. You know, that did surprise me a little, but not too much, because I kind of thought that might happen. Because, let's be honest, see his father die right in front of his eyes. You know that he's going to grow up with some issues. I mean, that's just natural. Yeah. And seeing his best friend die in front of his eyes when it turns out that he just got mortally wounded to the point where he had to turn into something that he was not, and see all his friends and family, who was new adopted family of sorts, die in front of his eyes. You know. Speaking of which, the guy near the end of the movie, I forgot his name, but his tries to seek revenge on Afro for what happened. I felt like you should not be blaming Afro totally for that. His master did in fact say, "Hey, get the fuck out of here and grab everyone with you." He did not, and put everyone at risk and made them die. He should not be blaming Afro for that. That's partly his fault. True, it's Afro's fault for even being there in the first place and making his master be out, and therefore all the guys out, and therefore everyone staying and getting slaughtered. But still, I feel like that guy should assume some responsibility for what happened, but he does not. Granted that he probably went insane, but still. You know, every character that we actually hear dialogue from is a pretty shitty character, to be honest. Personally, I feel like the show should not have tried to have a little bit of substance to it. It should not have tried for that. And some people will go, well, he was just trying to show how badass he is and how much he doesn't eat people and how he walks the path of the warrior. No, he's not walking the path of the warrior. He's walking the path of revenge. There's a freaking difference. A warrior is someone who enjoys fighting, and someone who fights for the sake of fighting. Afro's not fighting for the sake of fighting, or because he enjoys a battle. He is fighting simply so he can revenge his father. And on that path, several people want to revenge him, which ended up biting him in the ass. And the whole entire Naruto show, which yes, we're getting back to. I mean, samurai ninjas aren't really that much different. And Naruto, that's what basically Naruto's trying to do: smother the revenge and make sure everywhere a happy place and not all yada yada yada. Well, Sasuke's going, no, I want my revenge, yada yada yada. I'm a revenger, blah blah blah. And that's pretty much what's going on with that. And for those who haven't seen in 3 or 4 years, currently Sasuke is at the point where he's rethinking his decision and talking to the old Hokage, and which Orochimaru brought back to life one way or another. And he's talking to them, and the first Hokage is reminiscing, and that's where it is in the anime. And also, for those who are interested, Hinata looks like she may get with Naruto. It actually looks very similar right now. To get you a hope, just get right into the anime, have fun with that, just so you can see that happen. Alright, back to Afro Samurai. As I was saying, and I keep getting off subject, I really feel like this movie is good. This movie is really good. I really think it was good. Like I said, the only problem I have is that they gave Afro a little bit of a backstory, a little bit of substance, when he did not need any. He did not need. Everything else could have happened, and we've been okay with it. You could just take out the two-sworded guy who just wanted revenge on him. You could take that guy out, and everything would have been dandy. You could leave the sex scene and make it vague that they knew each other, but not really getting too much into it, and then you would have been fine. You would have been okay. It really would have been okay. You know? I mean, I think it was good. Like I keep saying this. Afro did not need a backstory. A character like Afro, if you sometimes give a character like Afro a backstory, it's not a good backstory. sometimes it just makes it end up looking like a piece of shit and like worthless human being, which kind of, in my opinion, made me think of Afro. I mean, yeah, he's badass, but at the end of the day, he's not really that much of a good person, you know? I mean, I think that maybe was the point of the show, to make people go, hey, he's a badass, but he's not a good person. Maybe that was the point, but even if that was the point, I still feel like, you know, they shouldn't have done that. I feel like the point should have been, hey, this is a mindless bloodbath. Enjoy. That's what this should have been going for, and that's what everyone thought about just looking at the show. This is a mindless bloodbath. But it wasn't. And that's what I don't like, you know? If it tries to be more than it is, and it fails to be more what it is. That's my only real problem, you know? Is Afro and his stupid backstory that did not need to happen. Because it made him seem like less cool of a character in my eyes, you know? You know? And if I were to describe what Afro is in a nutshell, I think he is a cross between Samurai Jack and Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto. Just put the whole entire presence of Samurai Jack, make him black, and give it the personality, like the vengeance-filled hatred of Sasuke, who won't let it go, and he very well should let it go and move on with his life. Now, some people say, well, why about the backstory? He still would want revenge and whatnot. That. So, well, yes, my point is that it gave him a chance. We saw that he had a chance, but he didn't take it. Now, if he was never offered a chance, I couldn't fault him for that. I couldn't fault him for that, and I would find him he was more badass. Which I feel like that's probably why everyone watched in the first place, because they thought it was cool and badassery. You know. So, what did I think of this anime? Honestly, if I had to rate it, and I would probably say 7 out of 10. Because that was honestly the only thing I had a problem with, but I feel like it was such a huge problem with them. You know, there was no real character story, there's no character depth to him. And I only saw the first Afro Samurai movie. I'm not going to see the second one because I'm not interested in seeing the second one without shitty of a character Afro is. Now, if anyone says that Afro gets better or becomes a better character, or starts doing stuff for the sake of good and with cheesiness, I may be interested. I really may be interested, but, you know, but I feel like you should watch it. Would I recommend it? Hells yeah. I feel like you should watch it whether you like it or not, just for the experience of it. There's several stuff in this world I feel like, if you're an anime fan, I feel like there's a lot of stuff you should see just purely for the experience of it. Now, there's 5 things I feel like everyone should experience. 5 or 6 things every person who loves anime should experience. Watch the original Dragon Ball. Just watch that original Dragon Ball, and plus Dragon Ball Z, a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. Up until the point where after Saiyan Man. You know? With Gohan. Second, you should watch, at least give it a chance, Cowboy Bebop. I feel like you should. Third, even though everyone's probably going to hit it, watch Evangelion. Like I said, for the experience. Fourth, Afro Samurai. You know, it's a quick movie. Fifth, I feel like you should kind of see, but I really don't think it's necessary. Akira, but that's not really a big thing for me, you know? I don't feel like everyone should watch that. I mean, I think it's something you kind of have to do if you're, like, hugely into anime. But it's kind of a cult classic. I feel like it's kind of, I didn't enjoy it, really. And 6, and I feel like everyone should watch this, especially who are into anime. Or, in the high school and or college age, you should watch Clannad. I've yet to see Clannad, but I do want to watch that. That's actually on my bucket list. I need to watch that because I hear that you need to watch it just for the experience alone, and I will watch it. You know. But speaking of Clannad, I will be watching it this week, and I will give you another rant about it later this week. So please tune in next week for that. Like, subscribe, all the nonsense. Tune in next week for PAVA Anime Talk, which will be a Friday or Saturday. Please like, subscribe, and all that nonsense. I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, my mouse isn't working. It's still not working. Okay, I'll get this working.